Hello, and thank you for listening to Texas History for Kids. I'm your host, Michelle Gallegos, an educator, writer, history nerd, and novice investigator. Each week on the show, we will learn about interesting parts of Texas history, from battles and historical figures to the odd and enchanted. Hi, welcome back to episode number 17, entitled Shamrocks, Leprechauns, and a Potato Famine, exploring the history of St. Patrick's Day. So that's what we're doing today. I'm not sure if you noticed that my intro music was a little bit different, and that's because I am celebrating St. Patrick's Day for this episode. Did you know that it's so hard to find a four-leaf clover that only 1 in 10,000 clovers actually have 4 leaves? Most only have 3. So good old St. Patrick's Day is just around the corner. What a better way to celebrate the rich history of the Irish than right here on Texas History for Kids. Get yourself ready. You're in for a treat. That was supposed to be my Irish accent, although it probably came out more Texan than Irish. But anywho, so St. Patrick's Day has been celebrated in Texas since the mid-19th century. It's like a big colorful celebration that shows off all the different people who call Texas home, including lots of folks with Irish roots. Today we will learn about the myths, the legends behind this interestingly green holiday full of leprechauns and shamrocks. But before we do, here's just a little history behind Irish immigrants. Immigrants from Ireland began arriving in Texas during the 19th century, during and after the Great Famine of the 1840s. The Great Famine, which is also known as the Irish Potato Famine or the Great Hunger, was a devastating period in Irish history that occurred between 1845 and 1852. It led to widespread starvation, disease, and mass movement from Ireland to other countries. Now here's the kicker. In those days, those who lived in Ireland, or the Irish, were under the rule of Great Britain, who relied heavily on potatoes for their food. The most devastation of starvation and disease was caused by a horrible mold called P. infestans. It wreaked havoc on Ireland, particularly in the potato crops, which was, like I said, a huge source of food for many of the Irish. In just a year, the mold had wiped out about half of the potatoes, and over the next 7 years, it decimated a whopping 3/4 of the potato harvest. So when this horrific disease struck and the Irish lost all their crops, many of them were dying of starvation, and they were desperate. Lots of farmers couldn't grow enough food for themselves, and the cost of other foods went up as well. This meant that many people didn't have enough food to eat, and some got really sick and even passed away because they didn't have enough food. To make things even harder, historians believe that during this time, Ireland was still sending lots of food, including rabbits, fish, and livestock, along with butter, beans, and peas to Great Britain. This made things even tougher for the people in Ireland who were struggling to find food to eat. They were sick and dying, and America was offering them refuge from famine and disease. In those days, America was the place to go for many immigrants looking for a better life. And I guess you can say it's still the same as today. Even though the plants finally got better in 1852, it was too late for many. It's hard to say for sure exactly how many, but historians believe that around 1 million Irish people died during this time. Many others, maybe 1 to 2 million, left Ireland to go to places like North America and Great Britain in search of food and a better life. In recent years, many cities where Irish people moved to, like Boston, New York City, Philadelphia, and Phoenix, have built special memorials for the Irish who suffered during the potato famine. Even cities in Ireland, Australia, and Great Britain have made memorials too. Also, there's a soccer team in Scotland now called Glasgow Celtic FC. It was started by an Irish immigrant who moved there because of the potato famine. They wear a special patch on their uniforms to remember the people who went through those tough times. They wore it on September 30th, 2017 as a way to honor those who went through the Great Hunger. There's even a museum called the Great Hunger Museum at Quinnipiac University in Hamden, Connecticut. It's a place where people can go to learn about the potato famine and what happened afterwards. Researchers can also visit to study more about this important event in history. During the 19th century, many immigrants were drawn to the United States for a variety of reasons, including the Irish. The United States offered a vast opportunity for economic advancement, especially during the periods of industrialization and the westward expansion. Immigrants were looking for better jobs, higher wages, and the chance to start businesses and acquire new land in America. There were push factors that brought people to America initially, such as poverty, famine, political instability in their own countries, and religious persecution in their home countries. All of these things compelled many immigrants to seek a better life in America. For example, the Irish potato famine, political turmoil in Germany, and religious persecution in Eastern Europe drove large waves of immigrants to the United States during this time. Now, America had the promise of free or inexpensive land in the West through programs like the Homestead Act of 1862, which attracted immigrants that were looking to own their own land and build a future for themselves and their families. America's commitment to religious and cultural freedom appealed to immigrants facing discrimination or persecution based on their beliefs or ideas in their home countries. The United States was often seen as a place where individuals could practice their religion and preserve their cultural heritage without the fear of rejection. Many immigrants were motivated to join family members who had already settled in the United States. They wanted to be closer to their family members. The prospect of reuniting with loved ones and building a better life in America was a powerful incentive that drove migration to America during this time as well. Now, the United States was perceived as a beacon or the holy grail of political stability and democracy. Immigrants sought the promise of freedom, equality, and a democratic society. The development of steamships and railroads made traveling to the Atlantic Ocean easier and more affordable, so immigrants could now make the journey to America more quickly and safely than ever before. Overall, the United States represented a land of opportunity and promise for immigrants seeking a better life for themselves and their family. Despite the challenges and hardships they faced upon arrival in America, many immigrants saw America as a place where they could achieve their dreams and build a brighter future. Many Irish immigrants settled in cities like Galveston, Houston, and San Antonio, where they found work in various industries, including railroad construction, ranching, and agriculture. All very big industries in Texas during the mid-1800s. So as Irish immigrants established themselves in Texas, they began to form tight-knit communities centered around their culture. They wanted to keep their traditions and their Catholic faith, and they could do that in America without reprise. So, not surprisingly, these communities that were popping up played a significant role in shaping the social fabric of cities and towns across the state of Texas. Over the years, St. Patrick's Day celebrations in Texas grew in scale and popularity, attracting participants from diverse backgrounds. Irish Americans in Texas have made significant contributions to our state's cultural heritage. They brought their music, their dance, legends, and food. So we're going to talk about some of these events that are very important and still happen today. Traditional Irish music uses instruments like the fiddle, a tin whistle, a bodhran, which is like an Irish drum, and Uilleann pipes. Irish folk songs, ballads, and lively jigs and reels are celebrated worldwide. Irish dances include step dancing with kilts. Now, Irish storytelling has been passed down through generations and includes myths, legends, folklore characters featuring leprechauns, banshees, and fairies. So why do they choose the leprechaun during St. Patrick's Day? The answer might surprise you. But first, I want you to do me a real quick favor. If you are enjoying my podcast, head on over to Apple Podcasts and leave a review on the show, along with your email address. The first 10 people to leave a review will receive 15 reading passages and resources absolutely free. Now that's a $30 value, my friends, and all it takes is a short few minutes to leave a review. Now, according to legend, leprechauns are sneaky and clever creatures who are said to hold a pot of gold at the end of a rainbow. So, on St. Patrick's Day, it is believed that leprechauns become particularly active, hiding their pots of gold in secret places and playing tricks on unsuspecting humans. According to folklore, if you manage to catch a leprechaun, they may grant you 3 wishes in exchange for their freedom. There have been many scary movies made about leprechauns, but leprechauns were not originally meant to be scary. Instead, they were considered more of a jokester or a genie. So why the banshee for St. Patrick's Day? Now, banshees are not necessarily seen too much during St. Patrick's Day, but they are associated with the Irish people. Banshees are mythical beings from Irish mythology, often shown as women spirits who come to tell the future about the death of a family member. They are believed to appear as a warning, particularly to rich or upper-class Irish families, and they foresee death. Banshees are not really shown during St. Patrick's Day because they are more of a somber feeling rather than the fun characters that leprechauns are. Now, another creature you might see during St. Patrick's Day is a fairy. In Irish folklore, fairies are tiny mythical creatures with wings, often associated with enchantment, magic, and the natural world, including forests and green places. The Irish language alone, called Gaelic or Irish Gaelic, is an important aspect of Irish culture, although not many people speak it today. So, why do we wear green on St. Patrick's Day? Well, there are a few reasons why green is so closely tied to St. Patrick's Day. The first is Ireland is often referred to as the Emerald Isle due to its vibrant green countryside, which is lush thanks to lots of rainfall in the area. Because of these things, Ireland is considered naturally a beautifully green country. Another reason green is associated with the holiday is because St. Patrick, the patron saint of Ireland, is said to have used the shamrock, a 3-leaved plant with green leaves, to explain the concept of the Holy Trinity to the Irish people during his missionary work in the 5th century. The shamrock became a symbol of St. Patrick and is often worn on St. Patrick's Day. I'll talk more about the mythical shamrock a little bit later in this episode. Green has been a symbolic color of Ireland for centuries, dating back to the ancient Celts, who believed green represented rebirth, growth, and good fortune. Today in the U.S., many believe green is associated with good fortune because it is the color of our U.S. currency or money. Although not all countries can say the same because the color of currency is different depending on the country. Some money or currency may be orange, red, or black and white. Now back to Ireland. The color green is also featured on the Irish flag, which consists of 3 vertical stripes, green, white, and orange. Over time, the association between St. Patrick's Day and the color green has been reinforced through folklore and myths. On St. Patrick's Day, people around the world wear green clothing, accessories, and decorate with green decorations, even dyeing rivers and landmarks green as part of the festivities. The San Antonio River is dyed green every year to celebrate St. Patrick's Day on March 17th, and they even brighten up their tallest buildings in green lights. Another thing that we do in America during St. Patrick's Day is a fun tradition where we pinch people who aren't wearing green on St. Patrick's Day. Of course, it is believed to have been originated in America. According to folklore, wearing green makes you invisible to leprechauns. So if you're not wearing green, you become an easy target for leprechauns to pinch you. It's all in good fun and playful to celebrate the holiday. Plus, it's a gentle reminder to join the spirit of St. Patrick's Day by wearing something green to show your Irish pride. Overall, green has become linked to St. Patrick's Day as a symbol of Ireland, its landscape, its patron saint, and the holiday's traditions and festivities. One of the Irish staples is its food. Traditional Irish food includes hearty comfort foods such as stew, mashed potatoes with cabbage or kale, soda bread, and seafood dishes. As with other cultures throughout the United States, sports is another aspect within Irish culture. Mexico has soccer, France has rugby, Brazil has martial arts, and Ireland has Gaelic football, which is basically a mixture between soccer and American football, except the ball is round. This sport is not too common in America nowadays, but it's still celebrated in the smaller Irish communities. The Irish also brought their craftsmanship and are known for including intricate designs. Traditional Irish crafts include knitting, pottery, glassmaking, and crocheting. Overall, the Irish culture is characterized by its warmth, hospitality, and a strong sense of community. And those traditions are passed down through generations in Texas. Today, St. Patrick's Day is celebrated throughout Texas with enthusiasm and excitement. Cities like Houston, Dallas, Austin, and San Antonio also host large-scale parades and festivals, which draws in thousands of people every year. Did you know there is a difference between the four-leaf clover and the shamrock? Well, I didn't. I thought they were one and the same, to be honest. There are quite a few differences, though. The most obvious difference is the number of leaves. A shamrock typically has 3 leaves, while a four-leaf clover, as the name suggests, have 4 leaves, although we know that not all four-leaf clovers have 4 leaves. According to legend, St. Patrick used the 3-leaf clover to explain the concept of the Holy Trinity to the Irish people, like I said before. Now, the Holy Trinity is a symbol in the Catholic religion. Each leaf of the shamrock is said to represent a different aspect of the Trinity: the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Now, as a result, the shamrock is considered a symbol of Ireland's faith and spiritual unity. The 4-leaf clover is a symbol we see mostly used in celebrations of St. Patrick's Day because of its significance to luck. The 4-leaf clover is often used as a symbol of good luck and fortune. Finding a 4-leaf clover is believed to bring luck to the person who discovers it. Each leaf on the 4-leaf clover is said to represent something different: hope, faith, love, and luck. 4-leaf clovers are much rarer than shamrocks, which is why many people associate them with luck and prosperity. I remember as a kid in my great-grandmother's backyard hunting for those 4-leaf clovers and strongly believing I was going to have the best of luck. A few times I did find one, and boy, do I wish I would have saved it because they are so rare. Both the shamrock and the 4-leaf clover are linked to luck in Irish culture, but they're different from each other in a few special ways. They do have their own meanings and features that make them unique. Overall, St. Patrick's Day in Texas is not only a celebration of Irish heritage, but also a testament to the diverse culture and the contributions of its immigrant communities to the cultural landscape of Texas. This week's question is, how does Texas celebrate Irish heritage? Do you or your family celebrate Irish heritage in a different way? Send me an email with your answer and I might feature it in an upcoming episode. michellegallegos.author@gmail.com. And don't forget, I am going to send a link over with you guys to go to Apple Podcasts and leave your review of my podcast. Please do so. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you for listening. And remember, yesterday is today's history.